Welcome to Davita's Stampin' Spot. It's Tuesday. I was sitting here waiting for 7 o'clock, and then when 7 o'clock came, I wasn't quite ready. So silly me. Looking to make sure we are on. Hopefully you can see me. You ever have those days where you just feel like you ran the whole day? Kind of feel like that. Today's my last day before I start substituting again. And of course, I had way too many things I wanted to get done today. And you know how it is. If I'd have started a little earlier, maybe I wouldn't have so much to do today. But that's the way it is. All right, looks like I'm live. Have the sound off. Good. All right. Well, I don't know about where you live. Here we had beautiful rain today, which was really nice. And I didn't mind driving in the rain to go get my computer fixed. I don't think I shared it online. Last week, my computer, I was using it, and all of a sudden it told me the battery needed a charge. And when I hooked up all 3 chargers, it wouldn't charge. So it was dead in the water all weekend and first part of this week. Fortunately, Kent allowed me to use his computer. But I have a Mac and he has an IBM. It's a little different there, but at least I was able to do a few things. I'm still saying thank you for birthday wishes because I just haven't been on Facebook much at all. Last week we did Vellum class number 1 or live number 1. Today I'm going to share with you some more ideas. And matter of fact, I had all my ideas figured out. And then I realized, oh, there's another card I can make. So this morning while talking with a friend, I designed another card. So the first card I'm going to show you is this one. And it has stamped vellum here in the background. I don't know if you can see that. Kind of, you can see it. And then all these different layers. So just going to highlight it here just a little bit because I had all these pieces ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you here. The neat thing with vellum is it adds such beautiful texture to your projects without adding a bunch of color. Now you can add color, but you can also do it to where it's a clear image. So what I did was I stamped the flower. There you can see it a little bit. I stamped the flower from Colors and Contour. No, I didn't either. It wasn't that one. It was, here it is, hand pin petals. I did this one. And last week I used this one. So this week I used this one. And so I stamped it and then I used clear embossing powder. So it's just got some texture to it. You can see it a little bit. Now I know that I'm going to put my part, all my different pieces right here in the middle. So I'm only going to adhere here in the middle. And if I'm worried that it might show through, I would use my sponge and try to thin that out a little bit so it's not as noticeable. But since I know I'm going to cover that up, I'm not going to worry about it. I always start with my stamped images. And here's this one. And then I did this one. Stamped one in mint macaron. The other one I stamped in evening evergreen. And then I'm going to take some glue dots and I'm going to put them on the vellum so that I can start putting my pieces down. And I'll lay them across here. Thank you to many of you who wished me a happy birthday last week. I appreciate it. It was a working birthday. I had too many things to do, but I will tell you that Saturday and Sunday, I did some resting. So I definitely made up for working on my birthday. Got to have a card class. We had a good time stamping together. So that's always fun because, you know, I love to share stamping with people. And then we've been working on our deck to put deck over on it. And we've been working on that for, well, we sanded it for many hours a few weeks ago. And then it was too hot to put the deck over on. So we had to wait until it cooled off. So last week was the week and we madly tried to keep adding the deck over, got some of it done and then realized, oh, we need another 4 gallons. So I had to run back to the store and get more, which caused me to miss a meeting. And I don't hardly ever miss Zoom meetings, but I did last week and I felt so bad because they were worried about me because they knew I don't normally miss them. All right, so I wanted to show you, excuse me. You can take your vellum, and I'm going to take my blending brush, put the excess on my paper, and then gently rub on here. And it's going to add color to this because I didn't want it all to be just white. So you can add any color you want to the vellum. So it just gives you another use for it. You can sponge over the top of it. Just beating it up here. All right, so I've just added a little bit. See how it's just a little bit darker than the one that's just the white, which of course in person you can see it so much better. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting off excess because I just want to tuck these down in here and hook them on those glue dots. So if there's extra leaves and stuff that I don't need, I'm going to leave them off. All right, so you can see you just continually add your layers in here. And I got home a little after 6 and then needed to fix dinner. And so I thought I had this already. And as I was getting the live started, realized I don't have my label. So I will show you the finished product. And then I'll have to cut out another label. So there you go. You can see you just keep adding different layers to get that depth. But I wanted to show you how I've been doing my double bows. I showed the gals at class last week. Bless their hearts, they have been so patient with me. I had to reschedule my July class. I think it ended up being 5 times. With having COVID and trying to go to Denver to see our kids out there. I had to keep scheduling and rescheduling because things kept happening. We still haven't made it out there. So now we're going to try again in September. All right, so I've taken 2 strings, same length. And of course, the length depends on how big you want your bow. So now I'm going to make my loop, wrap around, pull it through. So now you've got 2 bows on each side. Then what you're going to do is just pull one of the strings so that it makes the bows different lengths. I really like this look. Saw it online somewhere and decided, oh, that looks really cool. So almost everything I've designed lately has that double. And then if your bows are too long, so then I would take, after I get my label on there, and put that here. So let me show you how it turned out. So see how I added just all that soft and I put a thinking of you. I let a few of them come down below here like that. And then the gems that I used are these fine sparkle adhesive backed, these here that are mint macaron color. And they're really shiny. They look like you've put Wink of Stella on them and added glitter to them. They're really, really pretty. So there's that one. Let me show you some different ways you can add color to the vellum after you've stamped it. Get this out of the way. All right, so first let me show you. I had so many piles on here that I cleaned things off right beforehand so that my desk didn't look like it normally looks when I'm crafting. It was actually somewhat clean, but now I cleaned everything up so much you can't find stuff. Don't you hate it when that happens? Well, I'll show you this anyway. So just as a reminder for those of you that are maybe new to this. Hey, Marilyn, good evening. Hey, Lois, glad you guys are watching. So this is just a refresher for you. When you use vellum, vellum is going to attract static very easily. So you want to take our embossing buddy and rub it across it just to make sure you get all the static off, because you don't want the embossing powder to stick at places other than where you've stamped. So I'm going to angle this just a little bit. Now I'm using Versamark, and I always tell people Versamark just works like glue. So now that image is sticky. Now we're going to make it sandy. So we're going to add, this is black embossing powder. And what I'm looking for are my ones that I pre-did to show you are copper and silver and gold. So you can see how pretty it is on the vellum. This is our new tray. I love it. It's got texture to it, so the embossing powder doesn't stick to it quite as bad. All right, so we had it sticky, now we made it sandy, and now I'm going to make it shiny. And the vellum just adds a softness to it because you can see through it. I think it's really pretty. And I think with the black, it really stands out and gives it a really crisp image. Again, this is from the hand set. All right, so that's a reminder how you stamp on the vellum. You want to get close to it and heat it up, but don't get too close. I think it's a little more sensitive than our papers when you're embossing. So you just want to make sure you don't burn your paper. This has a nice screw end so that you can take it off easily. And then I'm going to dump my powder back in. I cleaned this with baby wipe a little while ago, and I can tell I didn't get it all the way dry. So it's sticking much worse than it should have. And I have a little brush that came with this that really helps clean it out. Can't put my eyes on it at the moment, so I will do that later. But this comes with the embossing buddy, this as well as the nice new tweezers that we have. So if you don't have one of those trays, that is something you will definitely want to put on your wish list, because I watch so many people struggle with trying to keep their powder under control. Oh, I can see I missed a spot right there. Do you see that? I always take my image after I'm done and move it around underneath the light. And if it isn't shiny, that means you didn't heat it up. The first time I did heat embossing, no one told me that. And of course, I didn't heat it up long enough. And when I went back to work on my project, I kept getting sandy stuff all over. I thought, I don't know why people like this so much. I think it's awful. And it wasn't until later that I learned, oh, you have to heat it up and set it. All right, I found my images. Okay, here's gold. If you can see that, there we go. See that? Isn't that pretty? Here it is in silver. And here it is in copper. So these, you get a set of 3. You get these 3 together, then you get black, white, and clear in the other embossings. And I noticed online that they were getting low inventory. So if you do not have those and you want them, or you're running low, you might want to get that ordered before long to make sure you get it before they're low on stock again. All right, so now I got to show you my fun card. So let's see, here we go. I started with my free paper, and I'm using the Rings of Love. Now, I didn't get the stamp set that this coordinates with, so I haven't used it as much. But then I got to looking at this paper, and I think this is really pretty. I love all the colors in it. So this is the one I chose to use tonight. We are going to use the vellum as our card base. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and I lightly scored it at 4 1/4 so that it's scored in the middle. Now, you can use whatever color you want in the paper. I went with the dark color. So I'm going to put one on the inside. And I'm going to flip it over and do the same on the back. Now, see what happens if you don't put one on the back? You're going to see this. Now, if you want to be really frugal, you could put the white back here instead. But I really like the blue on both sides. So I'm going to add blue again. You know, I wonder what percentage, how many of my videos I end up using glue that is just about out. Seems like it would be close to 100%. That's why that is. All right, so there's my card base. You could cut this off if you wanted to be real frugal. You don't have to go all the way down, but I just think it makes it easier to line it all up nicely. All right, now we've got it like this. I'm going to take a 3/4 inch strip. So it's 3/4 by 5.5 because I'm going to have it go all the way across. And I'm going to stamp in Night of Navy this little greeting that says Forever Grateful. I'm going to put it on the right hand side here. This Forever Grateful is from Through It Together. Now I want this to stand up, so when I get ready to put it on here, can you guys see that? I didn't line that up quite right. I need to grab my, I always think, well, they always say, don't worry about your videos being perfect. Be real. Now it seems like every week I'm very real because I mess something up. And I'm sure you guys never mess anything up when you're crafting, right? We just dream of not making mistakes. Okay. Now I'm going to take, this is a 1 inch by, or it's 5.5, and I did 1 1/4 inch. And again, if you're worried about showing the vellum, I don't like the glue showing, so I'm going to put this paper on both sides. I'm going to put it on this edge right here. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing here. Now, the nice thing with this pattern is with all the lines, it's not really as noticeable, so you can get away with it. Matter of fact, I like it well enough. I think I'm going to leave it like that this time. Okay, now I'm going to take my strip and I'm going to use the edges of my dimensionals here, and I'm going to put 4 across here. I want it to be really secure and I want it popped up, and you'll see why here in just a minute. I got this idea while I was talking with Robin today. I was looking through some old cards and I saw a card that I made quite a while ago. I'll show it to you here in a minute. And I thought, oh, that would be perfect because it uses vellum. So I pulled it out so I could, so while I was talking with her, I designed this card. All right, so I've got that popped up. Flip it over. I've got one more thing I want to add. I grabbed the Amazing Thanks dies, and I did the thanks. And what I love about this set is it's got the shadow and the filler. So see how cool that looks? Ran them both through the die cut machine. And then for the blue one, I put our adhesive sheet behind it. So now I can just pull that off. And well, there we go, there's a spot. When you put this on your paper, and I kept this little piece to show you, it looks like this. And you want to make sure that this part is down because you want this to be your top. This is where the sticky is. All right, I'm going to line this up. Do you guys remember doing this in school? I remember this. I'd write my name or whatever, and then I'd try to put the bubbles around it to decorate it. That's what this reminds me of, and I just love it. So I used Parakeet Party and the Night of Navy, like that. Now I don't want it all the way glued down. I just want to glue along the bottom. So I'm going to use dimensionals. Hey, Julie, glad you're able to watch tonight. I was so glad my computer broke after my Facebook Live last week because it's just so much easier to use my machine than to learn how to use Ken's. All right. I'm using dimensionals. I want this to hold really well because you're going to see that this bends a little bit. Now you could also use any of our dies or your paper trimmer, cut a square, circle, rectangle. Well, I'd like to see you cut a circle with your paper cutter, but square or rectangle and put that on here. But I like it where these words are kind of sticking up off of the paper. All right, so like that. Okay, you ready? Yeah, so can't wait to show you. All right, here we go. That's going to stick right there. And there you go. Except I hit it. Look at that. Isn't that fun? You see that, how it stands up? Wouldn't that be great for somebody's desk? It says Forever Grateful and Thanks. And then, of course, you got to decorate the back so that that's where you can write your message. So I grabbed do color and contour. I wanted to do something real quick, so I'm just using these two flowers here. And I tried stamping one in red and one in yellow, and I did not like that at all. So I decided I'm going to stamp them both in yellow. For my mat. And you could go through your stamps and find a thank you that you really like, or write a long message. I'm going to leave it open so that I can write a message. Should have lined this up. Now that I'm doing this and you guys are watching, it makes it more nerve-wracking, right? I think this is, oh, there we go. Here we go. Now I got it. There we go. There you go. And then I took my red because I wanted to match the paper and see how it was yellow with red in the middle. So then it's actually crushed curry and poppy parade. I'm just taking my pencil or pen, my marker, there we go, marker, and just adding some red dots in there. And then you could add another greeting here, and this is glued on the back like that. So here's this one on the back. So that's my fun idea. I hope I've inspired you to pull your vellum out and use it. If you're like I am, I know where it is in the drawer, but I don't ever reach for it and use it. And I would love to see what you make. Send me an email with a picture of it. If you're brave enough, post it here on Davita's Stampin' Spot so everybody can see it. Isn't that fun? Let me show you the others I was going to color, and then when I remembered this idea, I just had to show you this. So here's this one. This one, I stamped it in white, and then I used my blends and I colored the flowers and the leaves. I think that's really striking. Stuff out of the way. Here's another one. This one I colored actually with the blending brush. So I took it and I just sponged around where the flower image is, and then I added just a little bit of yellow with a blender pen and added the ribbon and the thinking of you. And then this last one, I did the same thing with the blending brush here, but then I just lightly sponged in the middle with a blending brush, and I used this fun ribbon. Can you see this? Isn't that cool? That's in our Christmas catalog. So I hope you've been challenged to grab that vellum out and play with it. I've given you ideas to make it as your card, as a layer underneath, to color it. Last week we made it a more vintage look. So I hope one of these ideas has inspired you. I would love to see what you create. Let me pull our puzzle winner. And our winner tonight is Susan G. So I will be getting you a goodie for doing the puzzles this week. I'm supposed to do something else. Oh yeah, here we go. So this Friday is the August technique class, since I finally got the June one over with. Here's this fun fold that we're going to make. So then it stands up like this. You will get to do the Stamparatus technique where you walk the image down the Stamparatus, and you can add your colors to whatever colors you want. Then this is the Charming Sentiments stamp set that I'm highlighting for our simple one. This is just DSP, and then you'll pick your greeting, and there's dies to cut the greetings out, and it goes right around them. Isn't that cool? And that's the technique class. Then let me show you my Christmas cards. Starting Christmas classes next Monday night. If you would love to do Christmas classes, but Monday doesn't work for you, reach out to me and we'll find a time. So here's this one. I put designer series paper, but then I embossed it with an embossing folder. This one here, I'm getting a lot of wows on that one. This one here, this one's using the free designer series paper. This one, fun fold sideways there. And then this one is embossing the snowflakes like that. So, and the Christmas cards are going to be a buffet. You come and pick which ones you want to make. You can make 6 for $25 or a $30 order. And the technique class is the same, $25 or a $30 order. You will make one of this one because it takes a little bit longer and it has a lot more paper to it. And then you'll make 2 of the other designs. So class Friday at 4 and 7, Monday at 4 and 7. I'll be live next Tuesday at 7. And I hope to see you then. If you're placing an order and it's under $150, if you'd use the host code, I would appreciate it. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Tuesday.